half a Bitcoin, $34,000, sent to a tabloid, not to a family, not to law enforcement, to TMZ. And a retired FBI special agent looked at that demand and said, "Pay it." Let that land for a moment. Because your first instinct, the instinct almost everyone had, was probably the same. This is a scam. This is an opportunist. This is someone who read a headline and decided to reach into a grieving family's worst moment for personal gain. That instinct is not wrong. The agent herself shares it. She believes the notes are probably fake. She says, pay it anyway. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why a career federal investigator recommends spending $34,000 on what she calls a likely fraud. And you are going to understand why the Bitcoin demand itself, not the person behind it, may be the most useful thing to enter this investigation in weeks. Here is what you need to know first. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, anchor of the Today Show. She went missing from her home in Tucson, Arizona on February 1, 2026. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is leading the investigation. The FBI is involved. And as of the moment this video was recorded, Nancy has not been found. If this case matters to you, subscribe to The Vanished Case right now. Every time something breaks, we are going to be here. Every case matters. Every clue counts. Before we get to what the agent actually said, you need to understand what arrived at TMZ on April 6th, because the details of that note change everything. The ransom note is where this story starts, but it is not where it ends. The evidence. On April 6, 2026, someone sent ransom notes directly to TMZ. The demand was half a Bitcoin, approximately $34,000 at the time. In exchange, the sender claimed they would reveal Nancy's location and identify her kidnapper. That is the confirmed fact. Here is where it gets complicated. In genuine abduction cases involving ransom, investigators know one thing almost universally. The demand goes to the family. It goes to the person who will be awake at 3 in the morning reading every word because their mother is missing. It goes to whoever can write the check and has every reason to act. It does not go to a tabloid entertainment outlet. Sending a ransom note to TMZ does not put pressure on the people with emotional and financial stake in the outcome. It puts the demand into the public sphere. It creates attention, and attention, as investigators understand well, is often the actual currency being sought. Think about what that choice tells you about the sender's psychology. If you genuinely have someone in custody, you contact the family. If you genuinely have actionable information, you go directly to the people who need it. Going to TMZ is a different calculation entirely. It is about media coverage, public pressure, and the possibility that the story generates momentum that forces someone to act. Promise one delivered, that psychology is not just a red flag. It is a data point. And it is one of several details that led experienced observers to one conclusion very quickly. There is also the timeline. Nancy disappeared on February 1st. The ransom notes arrived on April 6th. That is more than 60 days. In genuine abduction cases where ransom is the original motive, demands typically arrive within hours, within days at most. A ransom note surfacing 60 days later is not impossible, but it is statistically rare in cases built around financial leverage from the start. Even a scam, though, is still evidence. It still generates something investigators can work with. And what the sender left behind by making that demand is something they almost certainly did not intend to leave. The note looked like noise, but buried inside it was something investigators could actually use. The key question. Her name is Jennifer Coffin Daffer. She is a former special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. She spoke on the record to Newsweek, and what she said about those notes was not what most people expected to hear from someone with her background. She believes the ransom demand is probably a scam. She stated that directly and without hesitation. She is not operating under any illusion about the likely nature of those notes. She says engage with it anyway. Promise 2 delivered, here is exactly why, broken down completely. The reason lives inside how Bitcoin actually works. And most people watching this case do not understand the mechanism clearly enough to see what Coffin Daffer sees. Here are 5 things you need to know about cryptocurrency and criminal investigations. 1. Bitcoin operates on a public, permanent distributed ledger called the blockchain. Every transaction ever recorded lives there forever. 2. Bitcoin is not anonymous, it is pseudonymous. The wallet address is public. The amounts moving in and out are public. The identity behind the wallet is not automatically public, but that distinction matters less than criminals think. 3. The moment Bitcoin needs to convert to spendable currency, dollars, euros, anything you can use to pay rent, it must pass through an exchange. Exchanges are legally required to verify user identity, and this is called KYC compliance, Know Your Customer. No legal conversion path exists that does not require showing your face at some point. 4. Federal investigators use blockchain analysis platforms that can follow cryptocurrency across wallets, across exchanges, and across international borders in real time. 5. The payment does not buy information. It activates a trail. The money becomes the mechanism. The sender, by accepting it, hands investigators something permanent. Coffin Daffer called it a breadcrumb, not a ransom, a breadcrumb. I would want that last breadcrumb. I think it would be worth it to me. If you were the Guthrie family right now, would you pay the $34,000? Drop your answer below. I want to know where this community stands. So the money is the trap. But what happens if the person who springs it knows absolutely nothing about where Nancy is? The suspect/truth coffin. Daffer's argument runs on 2 tracks simultaneously, and both tracks have independent value regardless of what the sender actually knows. Track 1. If the sender has real information, the payment opens a direct communication channel. Investigators working ransom demands are not passive. Every interaction builds a behavioral profile. Every message reveals communication patterns. Every response narrows the field of who you are dealing with and what they actually know. Track 2. If the sender is a complete scammer, catching them still accomplishes something real. It removes a predator from the pool of people who exploit grieving families during high-profile cases. It produces an arrest, it produces a prosecution, and it sends a message to every opportunist watching the next case from the sidelines that the cryptocurrency barrier they think protects them is not the shield they believe it to be. Minimally, you might be able to get this extortionist off the street for $34,000. That's a cheap price. CTA 2. Subscribe to The Vanished Case right now. Turn on notifications. When the next development surfaces in this investigation, we are going to be here breaking it down before anyone else. Now zoom out, because the ransom notes did not arrive in a vacuum. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has been the lead agency since February 1st. The FBI has been involved throughout. C.C. Moore from Parabon Nanolabs has been connected to DNA evidence already collected and processed. Retired agents Brad Garrett, Steve Moore, and Tracy Walder have all offered public analysis. This case is not cold. It is being worked by people with real tools and real credentials. The ransom notes, whatever they ultimately mean, are now one thread inside a much larger active investigation. Do you think catching the extortionist gets us closer to finding Nancy? Or is it an entirely separate track? Tell me what you think. Coffin Daffer has made her argument. The blockchain does not wait. And Nancy Guthrie is still missing. The unresolved close here is what we know. Here is what we do not. No one has publicly confirmed whether anyone has decided to pay those notes. No law enforcement agency has stated their position on engaging with the demand. Whether the FBI, the Pima County Sheriff, or the Guthrie family has acted on Coffin Daffer's recommendation is not confirmed, as of the moment this video was recorded. What we do know is this: the window Coffin Daffer described is not unlimited. Wallets get abandoned. Funds move preemptively. The moment she called irreplaceable does not stay open forever. Once it is gone, it is gone. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She has been missing since February 1st. Her family is living in a reality we are observing from a distance that does not make the weight of it any smaller. This community keeps cases alive. Your attention, your questions, your refusal to let this story fade, that is part of what keeps investigations resourced and investigators accountable. What thread in this investigation are you watching most closely right now? Tell me below. Subscribe to Clint Crime. Turn on your notifications. We are not going anywhere. Every time something moves in this case, we will be here, sourced, analyzed, and delivered with the weight this family deserves. Every case matters. Every clue counts. Nancy Guthrie is still out there, and somebody knows something.